Youth mental health is a growing concern across the nation as nearly 1 out of every 6 children is diagnosed with a mental disorder. 23 News reporter Amber Cooper speaks with local school counselors and students about a youth mental health training researchers believe will positively impact students.
Researchers at the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority believe schools are at the forefront of youth interventions. That's why they decided to evaluate school trainings. One counselor at a local high school says this is a great step in ensuring educators prioritize the overall wellness of students.
If we're going to find any positive thing from COVID is that there's been such a big push in terms of mental health, like addressing the needs.
With the effects of COVID-19 and other external factors, youth mental health is now a national emergency. Krista Friend is a counselor at Auburn High School, and every day she works with students to address social and emotional issues.
There's just so many different factors that affect a student's day to day, even just how the morning starts for them, or even if they haven't maybe had breakfast, or different things that are outside of our control that are basic needs.
Researchers at the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority evaluated youth mental health first aid trainings across Illinois. They found the best programs improved awareness about mental issues and offered different types of resources to students. Friend is a supporter of the training and says her school district is doing what it can to ensure a healthy learning environment.
The district has offered some trauma-informed training for within the classroom. So in terms of being able to see different escalating behaviors, if you see maybe a student looks a little bit agitated, or maybe it's a different demeanor that day, just kind of recognizing that and knowing who to call in those moments, I think that's crucial.
Auburn High School junior Chloe Ballard says it doesn't matter how many training sessions staff attends. It's important to remember each student faces their own battles.
Everybody has their own experiences with their own troubles, so it should just be never judge anybody, just care, just be caring.
According to experts, schools already face a national shortage of school-based mental health personnel.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, you can contact the crisis hotline by texting HELLO to 741-741.